So a little bit of my background. I come from all forms of abuse: incest, sexual abuse, rape, physical, emotional, all forms, verbal. And I grew up in a home that was just filled with domestic violence. And, you know, watching it, experiencing it, and having to ultimately heal, and spending 30 years just getting to the space that I am in. I back in 2007, a friend of mine was doing a presentation downtown at a school, and they were looking for a woman to come in and talk about, you know, their story. And he had shared some things with her about what I had gone through. And this was really my first time just actually sharing my story. I kind of just went downtown, you know, to this life skills school, and I shared my story. And the remarkable part was the response to my story. That was my first time sharing publicly that I was sexually abused. I went through all this domestic violence and physical and incest and being, you know, locked in a room and drugged and raped for 3 years. I shared this, and it was the response that made me aware that this needed to be talked about a little bit more. So a year after that, I wrote my first book, Perfectly Planned: Overcoming Incest, Rape, and Sexual Abuse. And the reason I wrote that book is because I really wanted to free myself. I wanted to speak from the child's perspective. I wanted to speak from what my little girl had experienced and what she felt, and ultimately freeing the adult person, me, having to come face to face with that again. I needed to get it out of me in order for me to move forward. And when I did that, I realized there was a rebirth of me. That was the moment where I realized I was a writer, I was a speaker, and led me to becoming a coach. So all of my experiences are the reason I am who I am today. Without those experiences, I would not be a 6-time award-winning author. I would not be a speaker, and I've spoken for some very prestigious organizations, you know, and I would not have had those phenomenal opportunities to transform lives worldwide without my experiences. So I say these things were for me and not necessarily to me.